channel. Today's video is going to be a review of Alex and Eliza by Melissa de la Cruz. This was our February read for my kind of online book club that I'm doing this year for 2019. If you do see my dog Elias pop in and out, I'm on the floor, so I'm fair game. He likes to be on top of me in my videos, so I do apologize in advance for that. He's a 4-month-old pup, but what are you gonna do? Anyway, just very quick summary of the book. Actually, it probably is going to be better if I just read the interior leaf for you, because that's going to give you a better idea and then I can kind of give you my thoughts after. So it says, their romance shaped a nation, the rest was history. 1777, Albany, New York. As battle cries of the American Revolution echo in the distance, servants flutter about, preparing for one of New York society's biggest events, the Schuylers Grand Ball. Descended from the oldest and most distinguished bloodlines in New York, the Schuylers are proud to be one of their fledgling country's founding families, and even prouder still of their 3 daughters, Angelica with her razor-sharp wit, Peggy with her dazzling looks, and Eliza, whose beauty and charm rival those of both her sisters, though she'd rather be aiding the colonist cause than dressing up for some silly ball. Still, Eliza can barely contain her excitement when she hears of the arrival of one Alexander Hamilton, a mysterious, rakish young colonel and General George Washington's right-hand man. Though Alex has arrived as the bearer of bad news for the Schuylers, he can't believe his luck. As an orphan, and a bastard one at that, that's the language that they use for a illegitimate child, not a cuss word in this case, to be in such esteemed company. And when Alex and Eliza meet on that fateful night, so begins an epic love story that would forever change the course of American history. In the pages of Alex and Eliza, #1 New York Times bestselling author Melissa de la Cruz brings to life the romance of young Alexander Hamilton and Eliza, or Elizabeth Schuyler. Okay, so I was very curious about this with, of course, the Hamilton craze that has been happening right now, which, by the way, side note, Hamilton is coming to the Dr. Phillips Center here in Florida, and they opened up more ticket availability at a reduced price if you weren't able to get tickets in the first wave, and they're like $500 something per person. I'm wanting to see Hamilton, but even with a family of 3, I'm not paying $1,500 to see it. I'm just not. Unless Lin-Manuel is Alexander Hamilton, which I know he's not touring, then maybe that can justify that price tag, but that is just insanity to me. Back to the review of the book. I did really enjoy this book. It was very thought-provoking reading something set in the 1700s to see how the way of life then to now has changed so much, so drastically. So Eliza, you learn her family, the Schuyler family, is on the brink of ruin, essentially, on the brink of debt. So it really is in her mom's interest to be marrying off her daughters to more esteemed families so they can keep their family name and that fortune. So it's definitely being, marriage is being held to the standard of money rather than love, which Eliza is totally against. She meets and does fall in love with, over the course of the book, Alexander Hamilton. It is definitely not love at first sight, because as the leaf did say, he is General Washington's aide, and he has to come and essentially take their father, the Schuyler father, to court. And that really leaves a bad taste in the whole Schuyler family's mouth, not just Eliza. So it is definitely set over the course of the book that their love really blossoms. And it's just interesting even to see how dating and courting has changed. The language that he uses with her. And I remember specifically really thinking about, there's a scene where he comes to her aid and they have to ride back to the town on Alex's horse. But because of the fashion that they wear in the 1700s at that time, women are, dressed in the huge hoop skirts and the corsets. It's a very large and elaborate attire. So because of that and the size of her dress, both her and Alex can't fit on the horse because her dress is so huge. so she ends up having to hack away and cut at her dress to make it slimmer so she and Alex can fit on the horse. And although she's only cutting maybe to her knees, so the bottom of her leg is exposed, that is very erotic, very sexy to Alexander Hamilton, just to see that little bit of leg. So it's very interesting, like I said, to see just how much those things have changed. How, we don't marry, I can't say we as an entire nation, I can only speak for myself and my upbringing, but I was not brought up to, raised to be only married into other families for money. I was allowed to fall in love and marry who I wanted. The courting, like I said, is so different. The language used, I will say the only thing that deterred me a little bit from the book was the language. Obviously it's set in the 1700s, so there is a lot of language, and at wartime that is different than what we use now. And I'm not referring to language as bad language, just the style is different. There's a lot of words that were used in the 1700s that we don't use now in 2019. So just kind of getting over that hurdle to make sure I fully understood what was happening. But I absolutely recommend this book. I do, especially if you are in the Hamilton craze, kind of how everybody is right now. It's really sweet. There are 2 other books. It is a trilogy. So the second one is Love and War, and the third one is All for One. I only had this one on my book list for the year because for March I am going to be reading Crazy Rich Asians. So maybe if I can get ahead and I have time, I can fit in the other 2 books this year. But there's a lot of other books that I'm still wanting to read that I'm okay with setting this trilogy down and starting something else. Although I loved it, I didn't love it enough to continue to read the series right now, if that makes sense. Definitely recommend. I thought this was a great book for the month of February for Valentine's Day, as it is a love story. And I'm dying to know your guys' thoughts, kind of what things were thought-provoking to you. As I said, the things that were thought-provoking to me were how our evolution has come for our fashion choices, our choices in who we love, our choices in those relationships, how we date one another, essentially, how that courting has changed. It's just is very interesting to me. So I found that very thought-provoking for this story. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Please, please, please leave those comments down below. I would love to get a book chat started. And like I said, make sure if you're following along with me this year that you pick up Crazy Rich Asians. That's what we will be reading for March, or that's what I'll be reading for March. And I'd love to have you guys follow along with me. Please give this video a thumbs up if you are enjoying this series. I'm trying really hard to make sure that I do stay on top of it and deliver to you 12 videos of 12 book reviews. And please subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.